So I thought it was time to do another one of these things because it's time. The last 2 weeks have been rather chaotic with fires and people doing silly things, and that's impacted greatly on the amount of time I've had, on the time that many people have had, and that's all attributable to people doing silly things, lighting fires in this time of year. And for those of you that don't know what it's like here in this country at this time of the year, it's dry, it's very windy, and it's quite warm at times. And for some reason, people, I still don't understand it. It's an ingrained cultural shortcoming, I think. Let's call it that. People need to burn things. They seem to feel the need to burn stuff. I don't get it. It certainly doesn't. Fires don't occur with the same frequency naturally that they seem to here in our society. I was going to say community, but it's a widespread thing. It's across the country. So anyway, that's why there's been no videos, and we've been running around chasing fires and putting them out and doing stupid things. And it's been an interesting time, as it always is, because one gets to experience the way people handle or react to pressure and crises and a little bit of chaos. And that tells a lot about people. It's often interesting it's often one of the easiest ways to determine the type of person that you're dealing with, and that is put them under some pressure. Excuse me. Yeah, put them in a crisis. See how they think or don't think. And one of the things that came out of the last 2 weeks is we were fighting a fire. I've mentioned this on another video, but I don't think it was actually put out on YouTube, but we were fighting a fire where we ended up with probably 50 people from within the community, and residents, staff, people from neighboring communities, for the better part of 5 hours, maybe a little bit more, let's say 6 hours, fighting this fire. And the fire department arrived in all its bureaucratic splendor and didn't really do too much. Now, that's not a surprise. We are used to that. But it is an aggravation. And this morning a little bit later, I'm going to go and visit the fire station in the next suburb, which looks after this area, and I'm going to go and explore some of that bureaucratic splendor. What it will bring, I don't know, but I've been thinking this morning actually about what it will bring. Is it even worth the effort to engage these people that are part of a system that is sadly doesn't seem to be about rendering a service. It doesn't seem to be about achieving a proper result in an efficient manner. It just seems to be about being paid for regular attendance at your place of employment. That's kind of sad, and I guess that's a thing across the world, but we see it particularly here in South Africa, where corruption is rife and nepotism is the name of the game, and people are put into positions like this to do things because of who they know and because it's politic to do so. So one asks the question, I ask the question, is it actually worth the effort, the time? And then, of course, you always come back to that thing about evil triumphing, because all that's required is that good men do nothing. And there's a great deal of validity in that. And of course it's necessary to go there and to talk to people and to form relationships with them, because that's what any of this is about, is actually about forming relationships and trying to go forward as a species, because you evolve, those relationships evolve into something productive. But when you're dealing with people that are self-centered and only seem to be concerned with their own material advancement, because that seems to be where the focus is, it does make you wonder what the perspective, well, firstly of those people is, but it does make you wonder what the point of the entire thing is. Is it better to just pack your bag and go into the bush or wherever it takes your fancy, maybe down to the beach, and just have a minimalistic approach to life, just cut everything down to the bare minimum? I was talking in the week to a friend, and we were talking about how the chaos, and this is a thing of perspective on life and mindset and how one approaches life. But we were talking about how a little bit of natural observation or observation of nature, things in nature, can undo great quantities of chaos. I said to him that the last 2 weeks of absolute anarchy and aggravation at the way people behave and react incorrectly when you expect them to be doing something in a certain way, that the aggravation caused by that is undone by standing outside and watching a crested eagle flying, hovering in the wind, floating, swimming in the air, because that's what it looks like. Standing for a minute and observing something in nature, being mindful, just fully investing your attention in a thing like that, somehow seems to undo all of the chaos that comes from the stupidity of people and the laziness of people. I use the word stupidity fairly often nowadays, and I don't think it's misplaced. People are stupid. People are behaving in a stupid manner. People are behaving in an ignorant manner because they don't seem to be too concerned with making things better going forward for themselves as well as for other people. And those two things are intrinsically linked. But obviously they have not thought that far. But we were talking about how standing and observing something natural like that for a short period of time can have a good cancelling effect to the craziness that comes from being around people. And it's very tempting to just walk out, shut the door, close the gate, go and find a place in the middle of nowhere and survive. And what do you need to do that? I mean, you need some water, because that's pretty important. You need far less food than everyone has been conditioned to think you need. You need some water. And all the creature comforts that come with modern life, well, those are nice things, but they're not essential. And I wonder if the the payoff is worth it. I wonder if the peace of mind, I wonder if what you get out of being in the middle of the desert, for instance, or a jungle somewhere, preferably with things that can't eat you, especially on this continent. I wonder if it's worth it. Is it worth to be away from people to that extent? In order to remove yourself from society. What's the big payoff there? Is there great value in it? I think there is. But then I think you also have to become quite selfish and realize that you are here on the planet in this time for you, not for other people. And I think in all of us there is some little ringing bell in the back of the mind that realizes that in order to make this human endeavor a successful thing in time going forward, there has to be interaction between people. There has to be connection rather than isolation. Well, there doesn't have to be, but certainly for the continuation of the species and its evolution, that would be a good thing. Lots of things to think about. I'm going to stop rambling on here about this, and I'm going to go and do the whole political, bureaucratic thing and talk nicely to people and see if we can get them to do their jobs nicely and properly, the way we expect that they should. So, wish me luck with that. And yeah, I'll try and do these a little bit more often, with a little more predictability. So, yeah, if you like any of this, or if you have any thoughts on it, put them in the comments. I very much appreciate feedback on these things, and I very much appreciate your thoughts as well, your perspective, because like I've said in the past, only through observation of other perspective and looking at other people's opinions based on their life experience can we actually expand our thinking. So if you have any thoughts on this, put them in the comments, and I will do my very best to give you a sensible answer or my opinion on your opinion. And yeah, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell and all of that stuff, all the algorithm stuff. That's another thing we should talk about, the algorithm, this whole artificial intelligence thing. I think that's out of hand. I think that's beyond our knowledge to understand at the moment, and that raises many questions. Anyway, let me go and do politics and stuff, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Once the coffee's finished.